Tim Legler from ESPN joins us now with Sedano and Cappy on the Sedano and Cap Morning Show.
Tim Legler
it actually
is
brought
calling
a tear to my eye. Brought a tear to my eye right there.
It was emotional.
There
I
it
think
is.
So too.
There it is, Legs.
It really was
emotional.
I felt it.
Yeah.
Tim Legler will be calling the NBA Finals on ABC with Mike Breen, Richard Jefferson, and Lisa Salters. He called Game 1 of the Lakers-Rockets. And tonight he will be in Detroit, right? You're in Detroit tonight for Orlando and Detroit?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, that's going to be – man, I'll tell you what, this series took on a different tone with that performance by Orlando in Game 1 in a 1-8 matchup. To go on the road and handle Detroit physically the way they did puts a lot of pressure on the Pistons tonight. So I'm really I can't wait for this call, and I can't wait to see what the response is by the Pistons.
Yeah, we'll get into that one in just a moment. But speaking of pressure, I mean, the Rockets are under all sorts of pressure now, even though they are coming back home. Let's start with LeBron, man. Listen, you've called a bunch of Laker games this year, and I know you've probably run out of accolades to describe his play at this stage of his career. But what have you made of what you've seen through 2 games in this series?
I mean, honestly, it's you think that you've already had your mind blown enough, and just in terms of how he's defying logic and really defying everything we know about biophysics and biomechanics, like to be 41 and the physical toll that this game takes on your body to be able to just move the way he moves, much less be this efficient, this good, this explosive. You think you'd seen it all, said it all, but yet I see him last night, and it's, to me, one of the best performances he's had all season. And the thing that stood out to me was, here he is, he's 41 years old, and, he's going up against Kevin Durant, and they get Durant back for Game 2. And here's what stood out to me. LeBron James, even at 41, he gets blow-by drives where he gets to the rim, and it's an easy finish, right? He gets plays. He had a couple last night where he back cuts from 25, 30 feet and beats a guy off a back cut, catches it, finishes at the rim for something easy. He sprints the floor in transition to get something easy at the end of it. And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of guys get up into their mid-upper 30s, and that's not really stuff they're doing too much anymore. Like, most of it's going to be contested jump shots and things like that, because you lose a lot of that burst and that straight-ahead speed. And really, honestly, just the willingness to want to work that hard to get some easy buckets. And it contrasted so greatly with watching Kevin Durant play, because he doesn't get any of those things. Kevin Durant doesn't get blow-by drives where he gets to the rim. He doesn't get anything in transition. Everything he gets, he's working so hard off the dribble to make any offense happen. And it really stood out to me last night. And I'm saying, if you want to be really efficient and impactful at this stage of your career, you get mid to upper 30s and obviously into your 40s, which is unprecedented. Like, you need some easy baskets. But to do that, you've got to make sure you're able to play in space by sprinting the floor in transition on the wing, by back cutting somebody, by being able to just jab step, go by someone, and finish at the rim. And I was watching LeBron do all of those things last night because he has to. And Kevin Durant not getting any of that. And to me, that was the biggest difference between the two teams offensively.
Legs, I've been listening to a lot of our ESPN colleagues, including Perk this morning, who's saying that when you look at Houston, they just look like a team that doesn't like each other, doesn't like playing with each other. And when I look over on the other side and I see the Lakers, and even in this iteration where you don't have 2 of your top stars, you just feel an energy and a camaraderie, if you will. Could you kind of compare what you see related to team chemistry on one side and maybe a lack on the other?
Yeah, well, the first thing I want to say is this. Look, unless you're inside a locker room, you really don't know. If you don't travel with a team, you're not on the team charter, you're not at the hotel, you're not at shoot-around, you're not in the locker room. It's hard to know exactly like how much of that's legit. What I do, and I've done for a long time, I think I'm pretty good at reading body language and just reading the way teammates react to each other. And when you watch that, I think there's something to it. And I was watching even last night, like some of the frustrations of their offense in the second half. And while it's going on, I'm watching the game on television. I'm looking over at the Rockets bench, and it definitely looks like there's some frustration there that can lend itself to wondering, like, how much are these guys all pulling the rope in the same direction? Like, how connected are they? And you contrast it with the Lakers, who they have a lot of that right now. But look, there was a time earlier this year when I didn't see that from the Lakers. they've come a long way in that regard. I didn't think necessarily the first half of the season that was a team that looked like they were having a lot of fun, pulling for each other, picking guys up when they're struggling. I didn't see a lot of that the first half of the season. They found that in the second half of the year, and it permeated because now it's continuing even with star players out. They've still managed to keep that up. So they definitely found this chemistry and connectivity that is so important to winning. And I think the Rockets lack that right now. Now, to go as far as saying they don't like each other, it's hard for me to know that without being there on a daily basis. But as far as they're just pulling in the same direction and fighting through adversity, they lack something right now. That does seem apparent to me.
Okay, so what needs to happen for the Lakers to close this series out? Because we all know road games, the role players, ideally they don't play as well. And then conversely, for the team that's coming back home, they generally play better. But what do you need to see in this series? And does it need to be Austin Reaves coming back and putting on a cape, or can this group finish this series out?
I don't know. Look, George, the way it looks right now, I think they put themselves in a position to win this series without those guys. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're hearing things about Austin Reaves. At least he's progressing in the right direction, and we're going to see him maybe certainly sooner than Luka, but still don't know when. It depends, I guess, on how long this series goes, or is this something you're not going to see those guys till the next round? But look, when you go up 2-0, it's not like the series is over, certainly by any means, but you absolutely have now put yourself in the driver's seat, in full control of the series, with a chance to win the series, whether those guys come back or not. For me, what has stood out is they have played, I feel like they've played harder. I feel like they've played smarter. They have had guys step up in a big way to relieve the pressure off of their primary playmaker, LeBron James. Guys making shots, making plays around him. The Rockets have lacked that. The Lakers have a phenomenal game plan right now. They are flooding to the lane, and they are going to force kickouts, and they're going to dare some of the weaker three-point shooters for the Houston Rockets to make enough threes to give them a chance to win. Now, they'll adjust, I guess, if some of those guys start knocking down shots, the Lakers can adjust. But right now, it's obvious. It's all hands on deck in the paint. Nobody's getting to the rim easily. They're doing a great job with collectively getting on the defensive glass because they haven't really been, even though Houston had a lot of offensive rebounds in game one, they didn't really convert those into points. They weren't hurt by that. So I think right now, if I'm J.J. Redick, I'm going to look at status quo as far as what we're doing. We're playing harder, we're playing smarter, and we're having guys step up and make shots. Continue the same game plan defensively against them, and if they start making threes or they do something offensively to adjust, now you counter that with something. But right now, you don't have to. To me, the adjustments are all on the part of the Houston Rockets.